That's a good welcome.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, New Tech Seattle. It's so great to be here. My name is Jacob, CEO and co-founder of GeneMod, and our mission is to accelerate life science research by streamlining day-to-day operations for scientists and students. But before I continue, I'd just like to kind of gauge how well we know a few popular scientific topics. So if you've heard of it and can explain it in a few words, keep your hand raised. And if you can't, put your hand down. So could I get a show of hands? How many of you have heard of stem cell therapy? Okay. How about CRISPR? Okay. What about CAR T? Okay, that's probably lost about 75%. What about this? So, so media and popular culture, they do a great job with really covering hot topics, but there's a lot of things that go more behind the scenes. And this is really just part of the process that happens from drug discovery all the way to when a drug is FDA approved. And really, even then, a lot of the focus is in the clinical side, phase 1, 2, 3, HIPAA, regulatory space, and the FDA. But when we talk about the preclinical side, we leave that to scientists because that takes a lot of years of textbook knowledge to actually know what happens and what goes on. But in a recent Nature article, a lot of the researchers actually it's very difficult to understand that. And the reason is because there's a lot of different modalities of information coming in. So think about anywhere from protocols to data science, to analyzing, to people management, inventory. So all of this is really hard to make sense of what that is. So in a way, it's evolved very organically, but also inconsistently. And so this is a very typical research lab. You can see that there's a lot of things going on, many different documentation methods. In the office space, it's not too much different. Data management, data archiving, those are huge problems that are actually in both academic and in industry research today. And even in the scientific software field, it's a very polar spectrum. So you have free tools that you can Google, but also very expensive tools that are typically to just download it on the end user device. And so our mission really is to maximize productivity for scientists and students so that they can streamline, standardize a lot of the workflows, and also do their scientific work. And how we imagine this is really something that end users, they can log into their individual accounts. Maybe if they're a part of a team, they can streamline all of their tools on this left-hand side. And so really in that way, fosters collaboration, data sharing, but they can also do their work such as engineering their next construct. Now, to make this happen, we have to consider also a few pieces of our technology, and namely, the first one is cloud computation. And we've seen this transform so many other industries, but when we look at the scientific software space, it's largely archaic, but it is emerging. It is an emerging technology. Now, paired with this, with interconnectivity, we want to build tools that really speak to each other, not tools that leave the scientists disconnected, almost kind of that input-output model. And we do this by having a very intuitive design, fitting into the way that scientists already do their work, and then we can host this on a platform that is entirely scalable, something that we work on a browser interface. There's about 1 million or so scientists and professionals, and this is growing year by year, so we also see this as a really emerging trend, but also a market need. And so if you're a scientist, investor, or software engineer that would love to help us on our mission, happy to talk to you afterwards. Thank you very much. Any questions? Sure. Our biggest roadblock, actually, we've been working on our beta launch, but that is the nature of scientific tools. There's that R&D component that is required to be a robust, something that scientists can actually use. And so actually right now, our primary goal is to launch a beta to our current signed partners to pilot test. Yeah, the question was what niche is our tool trying to solve? So it's very life science research. So think of anything from cancer biology to immunology research to anything environmental sciences. Typically, say if you use a pipette in bench research, you can use our tool. Yeah. In the back. Yeah, so how's our software different from Slack and other collaboration software? Actually, Microsoft Office is kind of the status quo in a lot of different industries, but they're not specifically built for that purpose. So if you look at inventory management, you might see Excel being used to manage your inventory and your freezers. It's not a scalable way to do that. And so that's also the same with communicating with your team. Now, we're also building, our software also allows scientists to do their work. And so I think it might be a little bit hard to do basic sequencing on Slack. Yeah.
Given the just huge breadth of diversity of the tools and different scientific backgrounds and all these different angles that they come at that they're going to need a piece of software, do you see that being a bottleneck with different scientific groups and different types of research to approach like UI, UX, or just the data needs, or is there enough common denominators to dispatch this to the whole breadth of scientific research?
Yeah, so the question is there too many tools or too much ground that we're trying to cover? So our current pipeline, we've identified tools that actually span across many different sectors. So it's not just tools that if you're an immunologist, you can use. And this really, we see both two pillars, collaborative and also scientific. And these are tools, fundamental tools that we build from bottom up that can enable that research. Yeah. Yeah, so our tool is specifically built for scientists, so people doing the actual bench research work. And again, what we're doing is to maximize productivity. So it really fits into the way that they already do their work, whether they're writing it in pen and paper documentation methods, or they're using ELN notebooks. We're just basically having another solution that they can streamline this and not just do their own typical work, but also collaborate with their other colleagues.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.